So basically, we are starting with a set of variables x1, x2, xp. These are the original data set. And from those data set, because it is p variables, we cannot visualize it, because you can represent data in 2 dimension, 3 dimension. But when it is 50 dimensions, you cannot represent it. And if you cannot represent it, that means you have to depend on algebra. You have to depend on maths and just see, okay, the maths is saying this, that means it's true. So we want to represent it with the help of by reducing the variables. For example, here I say we form a new set of variables, suppose, which are the linear combination. Linear combination is like a11 times x1 value plus a12 x2 value plus a1p xp value. x1, x2, x3 are column vectors. They are the variables. For example, a11 times age of a person plus a12 times salary of a person plus and so on, plus a1p times the family size plus siblings and parents and any other relatives, so that on any other dependents. So this is y1. Then we say y2. So basically only the thing is changing is these coefficients a11, a12, a1p, a21 and so on. So these coefficients have a specific name. They are either called coefficients or they are called loading values. Yes, I type here loading values or loading matrix. Principal loading matrix is also another term that is used for this these values are a11, a12 and so on. So you see, if you have p variables means x1, x2 up to xp, then there will be p cross p number of values or loading values for these transformation. This is called linear transformation. Now, if you have a linear transformation, then eigenvalues. Eigenvalues are a maths linear algebra thing. Eigenvalues represents that if you have a large data set, how many variables are the true representation of the whole data. For example, your class have 2 CRs and they are representing and they are representing the whole class. That is called, they are the 2 top in eigenvalues, and the rest who are talking or who are commenting positively, they have a relatively smaller eigenvalues. Eigenvalues represents the importance of a variable in a matrix. For example, if there are 3 columns, 3 variables, that means suppose first eigenvalue is 2.3, second eigenvalue is 1.5, and third eigenvalue is suppose 0.6. So we will say we have to consider only first and second column and remove the third column, because the third column's eigenvalue is less than 1. So this is a topic from linear algebra or calculus. BSc Maths, they have it, and somebody have BCS, something like this, so they have studied in linear algebra. But even if you Google, it's a very simple thing. What you can do after this transformation, we apply the eigenvalues analysis, eigenvalue decomposition, or singular value decomposition. So there are two things: SVD, singular value decomposition, and eigenfactorization. Something they are the terms which are coming from linear algebra math side. So we use this and we calculated eigenvalues for the new variables y1, y2 up to yp. After this transformed variables, we see there are eigenvalues, the highest eigenvalue, second highest, third highest, and we rank all of them. But there is a condition that all the eigenvalues must be positive. If the eigenvalue is less than 0, it is something else. Positive definite and positive semi-definite. Have you studied operation research or are you studying it now? आप लोगों ने ऑपरेशन रिसर्च पढ़ लिया है या अभी पढ़ रहे हैं?
पढ़ लिया
तो and have you studied what I was saying? Yes, पढ़ लिया. Okay, have you studied? I forgot. Okay, anyway, so eigenvalues are very important. Yeah, positive definite and semi-positive definite and negative definite and semi-negative definite. Have you studied these 4 terms? ऑपरेशन रिसर्च में या लीनियर अलजेब्रा में कहीं शायद पढ़ा हो. नहीं पढ़ा है तो गूगल पे देख सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये इसमें अब आगे तो नहीं आएगा लेकिन रियल लाइफ में आएगा. So whenever you are doing data pre-processing, you have to care for positive definite matrix and eigenvalues. I'm not going towards more mathematical discussion and limited. So we don't go for it for this mathematics. What we need to do is to go and apply this. Yeah, one example for this. Suppose I told you that after the transformation into y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, and so on, first we calculate the correlation matrix or covariance. So covariance is basically the numerator of correlation. The correlation formula is covariance divided by variance of x and variance of y. So we just consider the numerator of the correlation formula, that is called covariance. Then for this matrix, we can use eigen command, EIG in R, and I think EIG is the same command in MATLAB as well, to calculate the eigenvalues for these three columns. From those, we found that one of the eigenvalues is 5.83, second is this, third is this. And corresponding to each eigenvalue, we can do some calculation and calculate some new columns. So you see the original values were 1, -2, 0, -2, 5, 0, 0, 0, 2. But now you see you have new columns E1, E2, E3, which have very different values from the original one. This is called transform data, because first you have Y, which were linear combinations, but now after eigenvalues, you have a new type of data. And that's why we say y1 is equal to, suppose the coefficient is 0.383 x1 and minus 0.924 x2. X2 is missing here, sorry, and 0 times x3. So x2 is missing here. And for second one, 0 x1, 0 x2, and x3. And for third one, 0.924 x1, 0.383 x2, and 0 x3. So you see, when we do eigenvalues and eigenvectors, we can have the new transform variable, and these eigenvector values are the principal loading values for your PCA. So eigenvalues, eigenvectors. Now from eigenvalues, you can see the first two values are large, 5.83, 2.0, but third value is very small, 0.17. It is even less than 1. So if the eigenvalue is less than 1, usually we ignore it, we remove it. So if I remove the third eigenvalue, that means I will have only two columns remaining in the new data set. That means I started with 3 data sets, k is equal to 3. No, sorry, p is equal to 3, but I will end up on p is equal to 2. No, sorry, p was 3. So I use p for the original data and k for the reduced data. So original p is equal to 3 columns, but after transformation, you will see we will have only 2 columns remaining. But the problem is that your data was 1, -2, 0, -2, 5, 0, 0, 0, 2. But now your data is point something, negative 0.9 and negative 0, 0.9, something like this. So when we do PCA, it transforms your data into a new domain that you cannot recognize which one was first column, which one was second column. So that's one of the problems. So how to see, yeah, one thing that you have to do is relative change. So you see lambda 1, if you divide lambda 1 divided by lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, you see 5.83 divided by sum of this, it is giving me 0.73. This 0.73 is presenting that 73% of the data, for example, they have a 3 by 3 matrix, 73% of the variations of that original matrix are due to lambda 1 or the first principal component. So first principal component is the one. By rule, principal components are ordered. So first principal component is the one which is most important. Second principal component is like y1 is the most important. Second principal component is the second most important. Third principal component is the third most important. But maybe because we want to do data reduction, so we do it like this. This is called relative change or relative variation. Percentage of that is the percentage of explained variation. So how much variation is explained by first principal component? It is 5.83 by sum of all, it is 0.73. And similarly for lambda 2 divided by this, it is 0.25. So 0.73 plus 0.25 is 0.97, 97%. And only 0.02% or 2% is represented by third variable. So we can remove the third variable, third principal component from our analysis because its contribution is very, very small. So So you understand, if either the eigenvalue is less than 1 or the relative change, the relative frequency like this is less than 2%, 2% or less than 2%, we ignore that variable and we reduce it. So here in this case, I will reduce the third principal component and I will have only two variables remaining in the transform data. So this is the way to do the feature select, sorry, variable selection using PCA. We are not interested, or we are interested. Therefore, only two principal components account for 98% of the total variation. This is component X500 could be replaced by the. Okay. Now I need to do example. Do I have something? Yeah, one thing more. There is a plot that shows the eigenvalues here. For example, first eigenvalue in this plot is 3.1 or 3.2 something. Second eigenvalue is 1.7, 1.8. Third eigenvalue is around 1.1. Fourth eigenvalue, fifth, sixth, and seventh, and eighth. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, the rest of the eigenvalues after 4, they are after 3, they are less than, or maybe okay, consider 4. After fourth eigenvalue, the other values, 5 other eigenvalues are less than 1. If the value is less than 1, we don't count it most of the time. But in social science, if you are working in social science like psychology, like history or something, you have to consider even small values. Because I was working in a social science project and we have a explain this is called explained variation. What I was explaining to you, that first principal component explaining 73%, second explaining 25%. So cumulatively, they are explaining 98% of the variation. In social science, even if you have 50 variables, you cannot have like 70% or 75% explanation using principal component, because social science means human psychology, and human psychology is quite different from person to person. So in this context, this is called a scree plot, and in a scree plot, you can say if the eigenvalue is less than 1, ignore it, and if you are very in need, so you can include them as well. The more and more eigenvalues you will include, your data reduction will not perform well. For example, if you have 50 variables and you considered 40 variables out of 50 variables, that means your data reduction is not very useful. Descriptive statistics, SPSS. Yeah, SPSS output for some data. So in SPSS, it is very easy to perform principal component analysis, but problem is that SPSS have 5 plus 7, 5 times 7, 35, 30 or 35 different methods of doing PCA. It will confuse you. You are not a stats or math student, so we can do in R or Python. R or Python, they will not give you what they are doing. They will just apply the model and give you the results. We assume that the results will be useful. They will not misguiding you. But as a statistician or a data analyst person, then you can go to SPSS and see which method is most appropriate and which method you should use. So for example, this is a data set where you have size of hometown, gender, age, level of education, etc. So based on this, we have mean standard deviation and number of observation is 559. We do principal component analysis because how many variables are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of 9 variables, you see first, second, third eigenvalues are more than 1. Fourth eigenvalue is okay, acceptable. But if I see the cumulative, so first, third, 3.11191 divided by sum of all these eigenvalues, it gives me 35.45%. Then second, 1.714 divided by sum of all these totals column, it is 19.045. And if I add them, 35.452, 54.497, and so on, you see, if I just consider 4 eigenvalues, the data explained is 76.7. It is not very big number. But if I want to include more and more information, you see 76 to 84, the change is 8%. 84 to 91 is 7%, then 4%, then 4%. So it's not a simple data. It's a social science data. That's why you see only first 4 explaining 76%, which is not very good representation. But if it is social science, you can say it's fine. If you are working in engineering for physical science, you will not accept it. You have to have at least 95% explained variation. So if you have 95% or more, then you say yes, the principal component method is working very well. Otherwise, it's not good. So this is one of the technique. Yeah, and this is the eigenvectors, first eigenvector, second, because we just consider 3 of them. We remove all the variables which have less than 1 eigenvalue. And you can see which of these values is smallest or largest in absolute value. 0.6, 0.4, 0.94 is the largest. 0.21, yes, 0.94 is the largest value. That means years with current employer is the most important variable in your original data. How I found it? Based on this value, highest loading value. And second important variable is years with current employer. Third important variable is age category. Fourth important variable is like job satisfaction. So this is the way. In the second principal component, first important variable is level of education, and then income category thousands, and yeah, spouse level of education is important as well in the second dimension, second principal component. We can visualize the first principal component, taking first principal component on x-axis and second principal component on y-axis as well. Yeah, this is a very big field. Now if I explain you with the help of yeah, you can do this. If I use a principal component R. Yes. So there is lots of many different packages. You must understand the theory first, and then you can apply any of the packages. I was using PrinComp, PRINCOMP, or something like this. You can see it is showing you dimension 1, DIM1 means the principal component 1, and DIM2 is the principal component 2, and it is representing the data into 2-dimension grid. So you can say just for visualization, how good is the visualization of the data. This diagram, I am trying to show the one I have used. Yes, this one. This is a package. It is showing if the contribution of the variable is very high, like its principal loading value is very high, the line will be touching this circle. If the line is green, that means the contribution of that variable is very small or very low. So that means based on this red and green lines and yellow lines, you can see which variable is important and which variable is less important or not important. Sometimes it also happens that all the variables cluster with each other. These are, you see, they are making a very complex diagram because they are very close to each other. If they are very close to each other, that means there is high correlations between them, or that this is called the data redundancy. You have to reduce the data redundancy from your data first. If you don't remove the redundancy, the principal component or regression or clustering, anything that you do is waste of time. So this is an essential component. If I go to this library, if I click it, so I will see how it works. If I go to this one, you will see there is another library for it. PrintComp, RCMDR package. You see, SPSS will provide you different results comparative to R. Because SPSS IBM company, so you will have a reliable result. But if you are using R, maybe they are not much reliable comparative to SPSS. And C, principal component is R. So there are lots of many people writing blog. You can also write your blog and give good quality content to the people. So the similar way that we have seen, you can do, yeah, this is a ggplot, principal component 1, principal component 2. If it is covering the best diagram that I showed you is like not this one. Yeah, it is showing 3 clusters. So it is showing clusters over the PC1, PC2 dataset. So there is a lots of many things, because now data science is one of the hot topics. So you can do a lot of many things yourself. You have to learn, you have to study, and just look at the lesson, follow the lesson, and you will find that most of the content will be easy to follow, because they are very descriptive, very descriptive. So they are blogs. So because I was user of this one. Oh yeah, that's RPub. Good luck that you have a RPub. Yes, you can follow this link. It's a nice one. Control C. Let me check. So tutorial multivariate analysis. Somebody want to learn more than data science, he have to go through this using R for multivariate analysis. So see, multivariate is the core, and this is application. Oh yes, the scree diagram that I was showing in R, you can have it with fwist_eig command as well, but it might give you error when you try to install it. So you have to try again and again. And this is the fwist.pcavr. This package will give you error. Fwist package will give you error. You have to try to install it. The red one are the most important, and the green one are the least important. So yeah, so you see there is a lots of many different type of plots or different type of analysis. We have just studied the core of it. We have not studied everything. Okay. Do you have any question, comment, anything to say? So your job for today, yeah, let's do some practice. I mean, not only to leave you stay home and do nothing or do homeworks. So try to now this is your assignment. Search some data, DATA, apply PCA on that. Comment on the findings. One of the references for you is this, and yeah, this one also explaining things very well. So you can use and this one. So there are a lot of many different references. You can download the packages as well, search packages in R and try to use them. I mean, it's an exploratory analysis rather just teaching. So this is up to you that how much you want to see. All right for today. Any question, comments, tell me, and I am leaving now. Thanks for meeting. Thank you very much. It's now.